Take care, cause I'm coming in. I see my shadow and I don't know when I'm alive with you. And it feels so true. We don't need shelter, only sky. Bring back the storms that made us high. I'm alive with you. Baby, I'm a renegade like you. Baby, I'm hurting too. Been around the world, now I'm running back to you. Baby, I'm a renegade like you. Baby, I'm hurting too. Been around the world, now I'm running back to you. Sweetheart, this world, it makes no sense. No pot of gold, no innocence. I'm alive with you. We don't need shelter, only sky. Bring back the storms that made us high. We're alive. Baby, I'm a renegade like you. Baby, I'm searching too. Been around the world, now I'm running back to you.
Chapter 2, and Happy New Year to you all. And now back to business. As you remember from Chapter 1, the Glarer developed a great relation with Critical K. Both became in short time the Inglorious Villains. Their collaboration grew fast and spicy. This first part will be about this.
The moral of the story is truth takes time. It takes time. It ages and takes time, and you have to be patient with it, and you have to be a cog in the wheel. You have to do the right thing to facilitate it. And if you do the wrong thing at any given time, you might impede it. You're somebody who is impeding it.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break, like a small reminder of the Glarer ex-BFF Critical K and her online career. And here are some screenshots for posterity. More details I will leave in the description of the video.
Maybe I should cry for help. Maybe I should kill myself. Blame it on my ADD, baby. Nah. Maybe I'm a different breed. Maybe I'm not listening. Blame it on my ADD, baby. Alright. Sarah. 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 Would you believe it? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You have to
absolutely.
let truth speak. And I think what we've seen with Caressa and Jennifer is you've seen a couple of liars do what liars do: impede justice and impede truth.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame, and it's disappointing. And what can I say? I can't say anything beyond that. But I wish it wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, we're, you know, if we're gonna cover true crime cases, we've got to look for the truth. You know, we have to be in a position to where we have to be in a position to where another extension beyond mainstream media, that sort of thing. I want this platform to be something that victims can go to as a last resort, maybe. I want us to be taken seriously as a platform to a certain degree, at least and be seen as these victims and their families as a place that they can go to and count on certain creators to be ones who care. And we're not just looking for subscribers. We want justice. We're people who demand justice because these things are happening in the world we live in. These things are happening in the world that our children live in and are being raised in. And we want to make a difference. And I think that's extremely important.
If you'll remember, Will, early on in my infamy.
Yes, it's the Bianca Devins case.
People tried to say, "Oh, Critical K, she used to write a death row convict." Yes, I did. Yes, I did write a death row. I federal death row inmate. I wrote him for over a year. Yes, I did. And I'm not ashamed of that. I became his friend. I wrote to him. I listened to him. I listened to his case. I listened to his explanation of his case. Did I find him believable? No. At the end of the day, I did not.
Right.
So I stopped writing to him. But I at least gave him the chance.
Right. And
how many people
and why
do
wouldn't
that?
you want to know?
Do that?
Why
wouldn't you want to? Exactly.
Yeah.
How many people in society do?
Like with Chris, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being somebody who isn't prejudgmental? And just because she's getting someone's side of things. I mean, this guy did an awful thing. Absolutely. He totally did an awful thing. But what's wrong with trying to find out why? And what better way?
There's nothing wrong.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with trying to find out why. When you find out why, you might be able to prevent another.
Sure.
That's the thing. And people don't want to face it. Yeah. It is what it is. Well, when you fight against peasants, and I call them peasants because they're simple, and I don't mean to be insulting when I do that. Like, people always think, "Oh, she's such a bitch," and she's referring to people as peasants. I don't mean to be insulting. I mean to be a wake-up call. You're behaving like peasants, and you can behave better. Don't behave like peasants. Behave better.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Behave better. Don't behave like a peasant.
That's what this channel is all
Jennifer
about.
And Caressa, behave better. Yeah, thank you.
This channel is,
and I'm proud of you, Will. I'm proud of you. I think you get it. You're just having a hard time getting traction.
Oh, I'm doing fine. I see. The thing is I love the subscribers that I have. I love having the the interaction with the subscribers that I have. If for some reason that I don't have, if I go back down to 2 subscribers tomorrow, it is what it is. The channel has grown, and I'm grateful for that. But it's hardly why I do it. It's nice. I'm going with the flow, basically. But I was fine when I had 400 subs for like the longest time. And I'm grateful for the help that I've gotten. I mean, you were the one who got me started. I haven't forgotten that. And I really, really appreciate it. And the thing is other creators have helped me and brought me on panel with them and things of that nature. And I love when those creators are not like, Who do you think you are? You're nothing without me. You haven't done shit with you. You wouldn't be doing shit unless I brought you. Well, it's like, dude, what you're missing is, yes, you gave me a panel to be able to say what I say, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I said what I said and people heard and liked what I said. That's why they're subscribed to me. That's why. That's why they listen to me, because they like what I have to say. Now, am I grateful to you for giving me a voice? Sure. But, you know, for literally giving me a mic, you gave me a mic, but when I mean figuratively.
Inter Marata, Sanctus Dominus, Virgo Spice Mater, Aspice, Sanctus Dominus. Our life, our sweetness, here below. Oh, Maria, our hope in sorrow and in hope.
Whatever makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah.
With truth and integrity and authenticity and meaning well. You have to mean well.
And that inspires, man. That
It's
inspires. And
if you can self-actuate, you can find your place in this world.
yeah.
I'm not doing anything that special. I'm really not. People look up to me and go, oh my God, she's like, but I'm not. I'm doing a very simple formula. I'm just being my best self. I'm being amazing. I go to work, I'm amazing. I get in my car, I'm amazing. I come home, I'm amazing. I approach my children, I'm amazing. In every area of your life, be amazing. Be your best. Be happy. Be inspiring. Be pleasurable to be around. Be a pleasure.
Oh yeah,
Be
like
pleasing.
that's what
Smile, laugh.
that's what
Be
that's what
amazing.
this channel is all about. What I do is I basically talk about how me trying to make my immediate environment better for those in it, and
Yes.
that's all
Just
I do.
be loving.
I'm not
Just be
even
loving.
telling anybody to do it. I'm just saying I'm happier by doing it. And so I talk about that stuff a lot, and
Right.
people like it. People relate to it. And I'm grateful for that.
On his tumultuous YouTube roads, the Glare met Jay is for Justice, a female creator who helped him grow his channel. This part is about the betrayal of Jay is for Justice and the aftermath that came with retaliation from his very new gained members.
Well, broken pieces, that's not actually true. That's not actually true. But you're right. She did not give me her new number. But if you're blaming me, since you're putting that out there, it's not me putting that out there. I want to be very clear. But since you're the one putting that out there, then yes, don't you think if someone considers you a friend, then they would give you their contact information, right? So how am I the bad guy here? So that's my explanation right there for not going to her directly before I talked about something publicly. And also, I didn't mention her name. It wasn't. I didn't say anything about anybody directly. I didn't point any fingers and go, "Hey, it was you, Jay is for justice. It was you. What's the 411 with Jay?" I didn't do any of that. I didn't say Jay. All I did was I said this is something that I disagree with, and I hold some accountability against a creator who interviewed this person. Now, I realize that's pretty obvious, but right, Broken Pieces. I realized she didn't change her email, and I was in contact, and I have emailed her, but I never got a response from her emails. Since you're the one putting this all out here, I might as well address it. So I don't want this shit on me that I'm the one putting this shit out there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it doesn't feel this way to you. Right. So you're saying, so basically Broken Pieces. Let me understand your argument here. By saying I just appreciated you and felt like you were a great peace and good vibe channel, it doesn't feel this way. It doesn't feel this way now, right? But is it because I address something that I feel strongly about? Because my channel, I have always addressed things that I feel very strongly about. I have always addressed other creators that I felt were doing something irresponsibly when they have a large platform. I've called out Mary Marlowe. I've called out Kay, who I once considered a friend, but she doesn't like the fact that I called her out. And people can call me out too. And if I do something wrong, that's cool. If I do something that they don't like, that's cool. That's fine. Again, if I have somebody who I consider a friend, I would want them to be able to, I want them to feel comfortable enough with me that they can address me about it and talk to me about it and say, "Hey man, that's probably not the way to go." I want to do my best to not let my ego get in the way and take it as an attack. Let me address this bullshit right here. You think I'm an opportunist? I didn't have to bring up Jay. You could have just talked about Shane. I did talk about Shane. And what I did was I defended Shane against someone who I felt added and helped create a narrative that was slanderous against Shane. And that is why I spoke out about it. Okay. Now, if you can't see that and you can't understand that and you're taking it like, "Oh, well, it's Will against Jay. It's Will against Jay." Well, I can't even fucking relate to you. I can't even fucking get, we're not on the same page. So this channel is just not going to be for you. Go back to What's the 411 with Jay. Go back to fucking Diane's channel for that kind of shit. I don't do that here. So here's the truth. Here comes the truth right here. Let me address this comment. In my opinion, you should pick your battles. You were far too new to say that. Far too new, the Glamorous Life emphasizes. You also come across as someone who is just channel building. It seemed pretentious to say that. See, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. Let's explore that a little bit. Because the real thing that people are looking at who the fuck does this pissant little YouTube channel guy think he is, calling out somebody like Jay is for justice, right? Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Well, I think I'm somebody like anybody else who has opinions, who has strong opinions, who has strong feelings about certain things, certain principles, and I'm going to speak up on them. I'm not perfect. I fuck up too, but I do my best. I do my best to try to use my channel in a responsible manner. That's what I do. So that's who the fuck I think I am. Just so you know. So I don't think that somebody's principles and somebody's morals should be measured by how many subscribers they have. And that's the way I'm being viewed right now. And that's okay, because I don't want subscribers who see me that way. I don't want listeners who see me that way. If you see things from that perspective, this is not the channel for you, plain and simple. So if I was an opportunist, I would be sitting here trying to beg you to understand where I'm coming from. I'm letting you know where I'm coming from, but I could give a fuck whether you understand it or not. That is reality. That is the truth. So, again, if you see things from that perspective, where you see me here and Jay here, or vice versa, whatever, if you see things from that perspective, this is not the channel for you. Unsubscribe. Go listen to somebody else. Absolutely true. And I'm grateful to Jay for that. And I'm grateful to everybody. But here's the thing is, since I'm new here, since I'm far too new, it's not fair to make a fast judgment about me and my character. So if you want to get to know me and you want to know what I'm all about, go back and listen to my previous lives, or continue listening to my channel, or don't. But if you're interested in what kind of person I am and where I'm coming from and why I do and say what I do, then yeah, listen, welcome, great. But if you're just one of those people who are seeing this from a Jay versus Will perspective, I don't need you here. I don't need you to be part of my numbers. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that kind of. I don't want it. I don't want it. Comments, you let Jay down. If I hurt Jay with my comments and I let her down, then why did she distance herself from me so obviously when the Gray Hughes thing happened? Because that's exactly what happened. You know, she would acknowledge me in chats and say, "Hey, Glarer," you know, but her vibe was very, very, very different after that. You know, and no matter what I did to try to make that right, because I knew I was out of my element with the whole Gray Hughes things, and I knew that I shouldn't have I shouldn't have drank before I went on a panel and discussed that. Because again, it was supposed to be a lighthearted thing, just me and Science Girl just talking shit. And then Gray Hughes just started fucking disrupting the chat with his bullshit. And so I got in defense mode and I got in offense mode. You know, now a lot of that was fueled by alcohol. And you know what? I've apologized about that so many times that I don't have any more apologies in me for it. You know, but I didn't do anything that nobody else has ever been guilty of. So, you know, I don't know why everybody fucking, you know, took me like, oh, ugh. So everybody's vibe was a little different towards me after that. And that's okay. That's okay. But I'm not going to sit here and you're not going to sit here and act like, oh, well, you know, you betrayed a good friend and blah, blah, blah by calling someone out on doing something that I feel very strongly against. No, man, like you're not going to do that. I'm not going to fucking be made to be a bad guy when that happens. And yeah, no, you're right. Nona 617, not really friends. Yeah, you're right. And there's the thing is, even if that didn't happen, if my closest friend fucking did that, you know, if my closest friend did that, you know, I would fucking want to call them out and tell them, hey, man, that's fucked up. And I would speak publicly on it if I had a platform to do it, because it's something I feel strongly against. So, yeah, I spoke up about it. And I used my platform, my channel, where I could say whatever the fuck I want and talk about whatever the fuck I want. I spoke up about it. And I'm not going to apologize for doing that. And I'm not taking it back. I'm not even changing what I said. I know why I said it. I know what I said. I know why I said it. And I would say it again under the same fucking circumstances. So
Step by step, stumbling, getting up and repeating the process, the Glarer overpassed some obstacles in his ascension and started to make new connection. That means he will follow his pattern and betray his new friends? We will see. So in this part we focus a bit on the connection between the Glarer and shipwrecked Beck, at that time lover of Morbid Reality, Morbid X, Jim Merman, etc.
I wanted to do something chill earlier, but I wasn't about to miss Shipwreck Beck's first live. Because I watched her videos, and I think I excuse me. I think Robbie actually was. I think that's where I first heard about her. Wow. Hey, thanks, Robbie. I think that's where I first heard about her, and then I watched her videos. And yeah, she was extremely insightful. But they were recorded. She didn't even seem nearly as comfortable in those videos as she does here. Just doing this, it seemed like she just was a fish who took to water right away. It was fantastic. And it was inspiring. And I am immediately a fan. So I am looking forward to what she's going to do next. When she first got started, and I was linked up with Critical K at the time, and Critical K's mods and everybody were like, "Who the fuck is this idiot?" You know, and she was just, at the time, Kay had just a barrage of haters out there. Just, I mean, people just trying to shut her down. It was crazy. And I was shocked by it because I was still so naive, and I'm still very naive when it comes to this platform. I'm very naive still. I'm always still very surprised at behavior that I see, and I'm like, holy shit. But
I agree.
but like, you know, Kay had just a ton of people that were just out to shut her down and hell bent on doing so. And this woman would come out, and she clearly, it was clear that she had jumped on this bandwagon of trying to okay, well, everybody seems to hate this woman, so I'm going to listen to her, and I'm going to find reasons to hate her, and I'm going to talk about it on my channel. And that's what she started doing. And then she started doing parodies, and it was funny. I mean, I was making memes with her face on them back then in K's groups. You know, she never had my respect. Never at any point did she have my respect.
The only time she ever had a glimmer of respect for me was when there was like an issue going on, and I think the one time that Frankie Ruchek had like commented on her channel, and I think her comments were directed towards Molly Golightly, and she had, you know, stated, I think what a lot of people were feeling at that time, like, you know, this kid's gone through like the shits, and you're kind of shitting on him more on social media. And yeah, I don't think that was a good position for Molly Golightly to be in. And, you know, there was a lot of factors that played into the way that situation worked out. But at the time, you know, emotions were running really high, and, you know, I think a lot of people agreed with her. Looking back on it now, though, I do see how toxic that situation could have been for Molly as well now. But at the time, I think people had just such strong emotions about this family that it was easy to get people to hate on people like Kay, or people like Molly, or people who met like Menza, who had a different opinion, because, you know, so people like me who are like a survivor of domestic abuse feel so strongly against like victim bashing, right? And that was, I think I ended up having to apologize to Kay, because she had said to me in a comment after I made the first video on her, she's like, you know, I'm surprised that people are so upset about this now, when she's been doing this to me for like a super long time. And I had to apologize to her, because I was like, yeah, I know she has been, and I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. You know, like, my own emotions clouded my judgment to see what was actually going on, because, you know, looking back on it now, regardless of Kay's opinion, that behavior still was not okay. You know, it wasn't okay for her to do it to anybody. And and I guess what bothers me now is some of the justification that is still coming out from these other channels that she like made some pretty brash and shitty comments about, and I'm just so shocked right now that they're even entertaining her. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I
A
don't
white knight thing, I
understand.
think.
Yeah, like I don't understand the delusion there. Like you're clearly just out there trying to hurt somebody by putting their shit out there. And so if you put somebody's shit out there, I'm not going to go, oh my God, look at their shit. I'm going to go, what kind of a fucking asshole are you for putting their shit out there? The fuck is wrong with you? What's going on with your life?
I will pause here just for 5 seconds. As I mentioned before, the Glirer's pattern was that time when the Glirer started to deny the connection with Critical K, following his pattern, pretending that was a troll of her. Yeah. Right. Now let's go back to the narrative.
Your life.
Yeah, and I think it's evident that she's got some like very serious. I think that's what like Laura kind of said it the best. Like on her own, she's harmless, right? Like on her own, you know, doing her live streams by herself, she's just a hateful, mean-spirited person, but harmless. But you know, escalate that behavior with people who are enticing her to do those things and enticing her to be meaner and
Right.
you know more hateful and
She's right.
more vengeful, and then you've got a dangerous person, like you've weaponized somebody, right? And that's I feel like what those guys are doing, because like they're not there to you know lift her up or anything like that. Like they're just there to you know get views, get their channels you know kick-started so that they can you know get bigger, right? If at any moment that stream starts like dying off, which could be happening at any moment now, that's not going to happen. They're not going to stick around for that. Like, why would they?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It blows it blows my mind that people have this delusion of being some sort of white knight coming to the YouTube rescue. And I mean, look, everyone, like it just blows my mind that people have that weird mentality. You know, like the email I got about Misery the other day. I was like, what did you think my reaction was going to be like in your mind from me seeing that? Do you really think that that my reaction was going to be, oh my God, this is awful. Where do I sign up to pull Misery down off of his platform? Like where? I mean, that's is there a where's the get Misery off YouTube recruitment office? Where do I sign up? That doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that how you imagine that in your head? You know?
Well, that's what I think is so funny. It's kind of like a comedy skit. Like, I'm like, this girl can't be for real, can she? Like, this can't be real. Because I'm just like, I don't think I've ever met in my life ever somebody like this ever. I'm like, this can't be really happening.
I have.
Really?
I'm not going to get into the details about that, but yeah, that's why I understand her so well.
No.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Wow. Because like she's the worst for sure. Like for sure. And I don't know. Maybe I've just been around different crowds, but I'm like, this chick can't be like this.
No, I was for years. I was made out. I was looked at as an awful crazy person because of this person. And you know, it wasn't until this person's craziness caught up to them so much that it became overwhelming for them to their craziness became too overwhelming for them to manage. It was really bad, like, because this person was so crazy, but it was more evil than crazy. And and so she was very calculated in her actions, extremely calculated in her actions. And then it just got to a point to where it was very obvious, because she just couldn't control her behavior anymore.
That's
And
probably where you learned how to deal with somebody like that, because it was interesting. I remember approaching you about it, and you were just like, just ignore her. And like normally, like in like any other situation, I would ignore her, but a lot of people wouldn't know to say those things. And that's what I noticed. When you had said that, I picked up on that right away. I was like, this person has dealt with somebody like this before, because most people wouldn't know to just ignore it and to just be no contact about it, unless you've dealt with somebody like that before.
I even got to a point where where it was fair to say that I even got to a point where I was abusive, but in my mind it was justified because of the abuse that I was taking that nobody saw.
Well, see,
So
and that's what happened. Like I was talking about with.
I was manipulated into being this abusive person, but I caved, and I behaved out of character. I allowed my emotions get the best of me, and I became this person that I was accused of being all the time, because I got to a point where if I'm going to be accused of it and I'm going to be treated like it and I'm going to be viewed like it by everybody, I know that I might as well be that guy. And a lot of that had to do with drugs and alcohol as well.
Well, I think that happened to James the other day with like Hello Starlight, when she like called him a pedo and a doxer and like all this shit, and then he was like, well, if you're gonna accuse me of it and all you guys are gonna keep saying that that's what I am, then I might as well be it, because you already think that way, And I think that everybody gets to that point. Like when you're going through that type of abuse, I do think that a lot of people it's not an easy thing for you to detach yourself from your emotions and not care, especially when it's in your real life, of what somebody else is doing to you. Like it's almost impossible to like step away from that and be like, oh, well, and I can tell you that there was like fucking many red flags for me before I ended up in that situation where I should have removed myself, and I remember thinking to myself, like, why am I accepting this behavior? Why am I, allowing this to take place? And I kept allowing it, and it was because, like, that's what those types of people do. They push your boundaries little bit by little bit, and it's a slow drip, I guess, or a slow erosion of boundary pushing, to the point where you've completely allowed them to overstep your boundaries. And that's a part of anybody that has to figure out, like, why would you allow that to happen? Why would you allow somebody to erode away your, like, let's say, integrity or your morality or whatever, and not put a stop to it right away? What was the deal with that? So I think, in any relationship, abusive or not, you still have to take your part of the responsibility for that relationship failing. Even if it's a small part, you still have to own it.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be accountable for and you have to make yourself accountable for what you've done, or else it means nothing. You're not going to learn from anything. Like anybody who goes to prison and they sit there and plead innocent when there's all this evidence against them, and they sit there and go, "Nope, I didn't do it. Like Ted Bundy. Because I think this kind of honesty is huge with me. Like Sarah says, I got violent because nothing I said to my man hurt him. He hurt my feelings. I wanted to hurt him back. Nothing worked, so I hit him and he broke my ribs." And that kind of honesty to me takes a lot, because this is the exact opposite of the kind of behavior that, most women will sit there and they'll, like I used to get beat up by this woman all the time. You know what I'm saying? It was only on like one or two occasions where I actually struck back. Because I was just like, well, fuck it. I'm not going to just sit here and take abuse when I'm already being made out to be an abuser and I'm the one getting hit, like, so fuck this. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah.
she's, but she would have never admitted to that. She still won't. I
No.
guarantee she wouldn't. But then you have somebody like Sarah here who will go up here and say on a fucking YouTube platform and say, this is, I would get violent and this is why. Because I wanted to hurt it. I wanted this person to care enough to where his feelings were hurt by my words, and they just didn't. So I resorted to violence. And that's crazy. That's a hell of a thing.
Well, and that's what I mean, like where, you know, when you're in these relationships and you get to a point where you get like that, it's like, what is it about you? And what is it about, whether it's your upbringing or whether it's something that's happened to you, that you need to personally deal with within yourself that would allow you to end up in a relationship like that? It's a tough question. It's not a question, you know, it does seem in a way that
takes a lot of digging. Yeah.
You know, like it's almost like victim bashing, but it really isn't. It's like it's not to be mean, it's not to be hurtful. It's really just a really tough question that we have to ask ourselves of why, you know, what is it about us, or what is it about what happened to me that would allow me to end up in a situation where this is what I was, you know, kind of placed into an emotional state and I did this. It's like, you know, and it's such a shitty question to have to ask yourself. And I remember when I first heard that from somebody, I was pissed off when I heard that. I remember thinking to myself, like, who the fuck thinks like this? Like, that's ridiculous. And, you know, but over time, when I started realizing, like, you know, the things about me that led me to, you know, make all kinds of really shitty decisions, that a lot of that shit was coming deep within, like, my childhood, that, like, was just repressed shit that I never dealt with, that I never looked at. And then once I did look at it, fuck, did I cut a lot of people, like, out of my life. There was a lot of people Did I leave? No, I didn't. There's a lot of people I just cut out of my life after that, like family members, friends and stuff, because I realized a lot of shit about myself. I was like, wow, these people were really bad for me, and they, you know, brought out some really bad shit in me, and I don't want that in my life anymore. So I decided to change it. But it takes a lot to start asking yourself those tough questions, because you have to be able to really dig deep within yourself if you want that change to happen. It's not, it sucks. It's hard. I find so fascinating because I'm just noticing Wendy V in the chat here before we get off. And, you know, that's what I find so frustrating, is that there's like a lot of people entering into this that have no idea of the shit that she's been doing for the last like 3 fucking months. So all they're hearing is her running over to these other people saying, Misery's a pedo, Misery's done this, he's done, and it's all just one big fucking distraction to distract from how shitty she is and what she's done to people, because she can't take responsibility for her behavior. So she's got to blame somebody for it. And it's just an easy target for her, because he's had these people gunning for him for a super long time. You know, if people knew a lot of the back history for that, they would be embarrassed that they're even involved in this shit.
Right. And Wendy V, I mean, in response to your comment here, fucking ask him. Why are you in here asking us? I can't. Can anybody here actually speak for fucking Misery as far as what content he has on, or on his channel, or what he chooses to take off? Because I have mods, right? But none of them have any fucking say over what the fuck I share on my channel, or what I talk about, or what I say, or what you know what I mean? Nobody has any fucking say over that. So what makes you think that anybody in my channel, where I'm not even one of his mods, I'm just the guy who likes his channel, and I happen to be in his chat from time to time. She's awesome. She's an Aussie, so it's like a much different time of day where she is right now. There's just Shelly. There's and Breakfast Club fan is coming up. She is she's a fan of the movie The Breakfast Club, and she just started. She is a mod for Misery. I don't know if you're familiar with Misery.
Of course,
Yes,
I
I'm
know.
just
Are you
making
kidding?
sure he's
Are you-
his chat is
I
always
know
super
Misery on a
fun.
no, listen. I know Misery on a very intimate level.
Do you?
Misery and I, yeah, Misery and I,
Oh,
yeah, Misery and I have exchanged some happy.
okay, okay.
Misery's hot. I think there's a lot of people who don't
It
realize
sound
how fucking
now that I think
he's
about it, he's
fucking
totally
hot.
up your alley,
He-
dude.
He is so fucking hot. He is. He's gorgeous, hot, and he's
Kay, you're married. What are you doing, dude?
Stop! Am I married? Oh shit! Yes, I am. I'm married. Fuck. All right. Forget. I said everything that I just said. Forget it. I said nothing.
Wow, so Misery made you forget you're married, man. That's some power. That is why he is El Champion. Good for
It's the champion.
El
He is the
Champion.
champion.
That is
He
why
is the
Misery is
champion
Misery.
of women across the spectrum.
He'll
of
say it
men.
and he'll brag about it. He will call himself the king of YouTube. It's quite humorous. I listened to him. Oh, and you have to know Once Upon a Crime in the West. That is Bobby. She is fantastic. She is a very small channel, but she has all the makings of having a great channel. She's extremely funny. She does impressions. She's super cool.
In this part and the last one from Chapter 2, we will listen to rants, very logic, rational and whatever. Till next time, buoy, buoy.
I take pride in knowing that I have not compromised my principles in the process in order to get that feeling. I take pride in that. But this is the thing is I'm not even saying that. Here's the thing is I'm not arguing with anybody whether or not she's guilty or innocent. All I'm saying is she might be innocent. And then what's going to happen if she is? What's going to happen? I mean, what happens if she turns out to be innocent of anything? Because it's starting to kind of look that way. If you think about it, just based on law enforcement and how they're going about this, you know, every day that goes by and there's not a criminal investigation that's been open, nobody's been arrested, it's looking more and more like anything could have happened. Maybe negligence. Did anybody stop to consider that maybe when she went inside to Petco, somebody kidnapped Gannon out of her truck? And she thought maybe he ran away. She got in her truck and drove around looking for him. And then maybe came back to Petco to retrace her steps. Maybe he came into Petco to see if he was in there. Who knows? What? Who knows? But I stand by the legwork that she puts in every other case that she's ever done. And this one. I just this high profile shit that's happening with this case, it's messy, and the same shit's happening. The same shit's happening with Chris Watts. And yeah, everybody turned out to be right about Chris Watts. That's true. That's fair. But during the Chris Watts thing, when that first television interview, I was sitting there and I thought in my head, I remember saying, that motherfucker's lying. He's lying. I can tell he's lying. But at no point until he confessed or until he pled guilty did I say he's guilty. At no point. I was like, I gotta look at these videos. I gotta look at everything, and I gotta watch these videos a million times